Cold night to be out. We had the bike lane Route 4 Sandusky Avenue North project going on downstairs at the same time, so we shut the door because that was a little bit noisy. You all got letters from us, and this is all about the sewer project. What the real goal of this project is, eventually, it's part of the EPA agreement that we signed in 2015 to separate our sewage from our stormwater. So we were able to obtain a interest-free loan of several $1 million to be able to start tying into those neighborhoods. That's the Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. And what it allowed us to do is pay it back over a very long period of time, interest-free, and then to start working on these projects at 2019 prices. So over the course of the loan, we expect to save the city taxpayers well over $1 million. And so we thanks to Branstetter Carroll, they were able to secure this the loan for us and apply for it, secure it. And it's going to be an ongoing project. Some of the area that we have that was in need of separation was in your area. So you're going to be the first ones. This is our first, actually, we're part of the Southern Avenue extension, and that's the first phase of it. Now we're in the 7-year phase. I'm not going to bore you to death with the details. I'll turn you over to the Branstetter Carroll group here real quickly. But you're part of the first of the tie-ins. Now we've already separated some of the city already in different projects up around the north side, Charles Street, Spring Street, and the goal then is to keep the sewage from overflowing in the Sandusky River. You don't have to be watching a whole lot of news to know that there's problems upstream, especially when you get in the lake. And Governor Kasich was quick to address that, the federal EPA too. And the city of Bucyrus has been in negotiations for over 15 years, I think. Is that right, sis? You remember over 15 years with the Ohio EPA. And then we were turned over, 5-6 years ago, I think, to the federal EPA. Ohio EPA threw up their hands in the air because they didn't get anywhere. So one of the first things we were able to do in our administration was to work a good deal out with the federal EPA that we could do this over, they wanted it all done in 5 years. We were able to extend each section out to 7 years. It's going to be probably a large $30 to $40 million project over the next generation. So we're going to be taking chunks, and they allowed us to do that, which was a pretty good deal for us compared to the deal that they won. So we signed that. And I know your fees went up a little bit. All of our fees went up a little bit, but the thing we're doing is needed. So tonight we got Bruce Branstetter, Jeff from Branstetter Carroll. They're here to show you some slides, and then we have some schematics here for the Group 1 and then the Group 2 sewers. They know all about it. We had a meeting of the Planning Commission earlier this afternoon, and they'll tell you about when we approve that also. So they'll tell you about when we expect to get started on those things. Well, thanks again for coming. Mr. Wagner's going to be here. I think we have Sis Love here too. And Landon, our zoning director, so we'll be able to answer those questions too. And Mr. Truk, I see him over there too. And Terry Spiegel, he's in charge of our water utilities, wastewater too. So if there's any questions, address them to Branstetter Carroll. And if there's anything else that we can answer for you, we'll be here too. So thanks again. Bruce, take it away.
Bruce, Jeff McMullen from our office. Jeff's going to answer the questions as well as myself and operate the monitor. Has everybody signed in? Great. Appreciate you coming out. Frankly, so we even have a bigger crowd so we can communicate with everybody. And if you all have a handout that we had at the front door, great. You all have it back there. There's a little bit of my cheat sheet, but as Mayor said, when we started working with the city back in 2011 or 10, sewer separation had been an ongoing issue. And so many of the city's current sewers today would storm and sanitary, which is no technology, doesn't need clean water standards on it. So you want to treat sanitary sewage, put the stormwater in and walk around with physically cured. Parts of the city are separated, typically it's older parts that are not. How many people live in what we call group 1 versus group 2? This would be group 1, it's like Colin and Sherwood. And then group 2 is Taylor, Highland. Group 1, for good or for bad, you all have utilities in your backyard. I think you know that. You got your power, you got water, and a combined sewer. That's where some of the real challenges are going to be. And those are the people that we do need easements from. The utilities are back there. You've been using it since the subdivision was developed. But all the research has indicated there's no real formal easements for that. For those utilities back there. The law director is here if you know, give us some legal questions. And if you'd like to sign the easement tonight, he's going to that here. On group 1, we're going to install new storm sewers, and the existing combined sewer is going to be your sanitary. So we separate the storm out. The storm primarily is going out in the streets. It'll be out in the public right away. The existing pipe will stay where it is. That's for the sanitary. Because your laterals go out the back of your house in your backyard instead of out the front like a more traditional sewer. Not sure where you're taking me. Yeah, so here you can see this is right over our plan set. This is all new storm sewer. And it comes down through here. Storm sewer on Sherwood. A little bit of storm sewer on Robin Hood. And then the sewer in the back of the houses. So this is all a lot of your backyards. That will become sanitary.
This won't harm what they already put in, whatever that was, a year and a half ago.
Oh, no, actually, go back to the arrow, that's a good question, thank you. What we did a year or so ago was in preparation for it. We put in a large retention basin that the city and the commissioner worked together on, in a fair board and MRD. That's in here. That provides stormwater retention, slows the water down because the downstream storm doesn't have as much capacity as we would like. So now as we separate this, it'll all work together. These streets, what we call group 3B, the newer subdivisions, the utilities in the streets are separate. They have separate storm and sanitary in the street. But once they get out to Hopley and on into the rest of the sewers, they all come together. So once we complete your project on group 1, then these houses become separated too. So that's really good bang for your buck, so to speak. You know, we're not only taking out your immediate neighborhood, but the people upstream. So that's a real advantage to you. We put a blue dot here because that's kind of where a whole bunch of stuff comes together. And you'll remember last year we had Southern Avenue torn up with a new sewer. I see some nod. Thank you for your patience. That was a new sanitary line. And it comes all the way from Taylor, and then it hooks into a line that goes directly to the plant. So that's a totally separated line. That project cost about $1.2 million. Southern's kind of like the spine. So it goes down the length of Southern. You know, we're starting at the high end, everybody to the north and the south, and has separated, that has combined sewers, will slowly get separated every 2 years. You can see, I mean, This is almost $4 million, just what we're doing. So it's expensive, it's gonna be slow, and it's gonna take time. Yes, sir.
What's the street going north and south at the blue dot?
That's Whetstone.
Okay, so these.
Yeah, there's
That's what's,
Yeah, there's a storm sewer that goes directly from the river down Whetstone. And then part of that, this storm here actually winds its way over to Buffalo Run on the rail property. Jeff, you might talk about Mansfield and Whetstone.
Yeah,
Then we decided.
You're talking about the intersection?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we call that kind of spaghetti central. As you look at the plans later, you'll see why, because there is everything in that intersection. So we're gonna be phasing that intersection between Group 1 and Group 2 just because of the way the utilities are laid out. And basically, that whole intersection is gonna be completely redone utility-wise in order to accommodate the separation that needs to happen.
So when we come in and do Group 2 first, we're gonna be in there, we're just gonna do a simple street repair. And then when Group 1 ties in, because of the way it all lays out, we're gonna tear up the intersection again. We're not as crazy as you think we are. We might be a little crazy, but it's just the way it's gotta be phased. We spent a lot of time with the city staff, and with the Ohio EPA, going over how to phase this in. Now, you might explain what Northwest Stone and East Mansfield as well.
There's going to be another project that's going to happen between Group 2 and Group 1. We're calling it the Whetstone East Mansfield Storm Sewer Project. The auto area neighborhood up there has some flooding issues. The existing storm sewer going north is under capacity. So what we're doing is we're putting in a new storm sewer, running right beside the existing, that will empty out into the river. And that will hopefully alleviate some of the flooding problems that are over there. But also what we're going to be doing is, when we were going around doing all the smoke testing and figuring out what was tied into what, we found 4 catch basins over there on Penn and Wayne that are tied into the sanitary system. So that'll be a future separation project that will tie into this new sewer system, storm sewer system going to the river.
And the new sewer we're putting in up here is 48-inch diameter. It's a big pipe. It tells you how under capacity the existing one was, which I think is either 42 or 48. So that's all, and that's part of the zero interest loan program as well. Group 2 is different. The combined sewer is going to become the storm sewer, and we're going to put in new sanitary. It's all going to be in the public right of way. No easements are required. It'll either be in the pavement, off the side of the pavement. There's one paper alley we've got on the plans, but there's one right of way that cuts across. And if you live in that area and you got a question, we can show it to you. But everything there will be in the right of way, so no easements are required. And frankly, that's why we're gonna go with that project first, because we can, frankly. And then once the easements are signed, we'll get Group 1. And Whetstone and Mansfield will probably be in between. So there's gonna be a lot of construction down there for the next 2 years, but it's what needs to be done to keep the EPA and the federal EPA off the city. On the handout, we talked about schedule. I just mentioned that there are 4 names at the bottom. Jeff and I, or with Branston or Carroll, were the engineers. Landon, you were drafted, you didn't know, we added your name. And Jeff Wagner, the Safety Service Director, is listed as a contact. Feel free to email any one of us, call any one of us, email us all if you got questions as we go. Can I answer any big picture questions? That's Jeff Wagner just walked in. We just mentioned you're on the bottom of the list of questions. Yes, sir.
when's the time, or what's the time schedule for Group 3?
Group 3, we are just starting design. if we get through it fast enough, probably we'll have to put that under construction after 2 is definitely done, just because of staffing. It may overlap a little bit with Group 1, depending upon when we get the easements. We found out last year, we just can't have that many construction projects going on at one time. Although it's good to bid them while somebody else is already in town, you might save a little money. We're kind of fighting 2 schedules. We have an agreed schedule with the federal EPA is when this work needs to be done. But the Ohio EPA is who is funding the zero interest loan money. That saves $1 billion in interest over the life of the loan. So it's real money. But their schedule's a little different. We're trying to match them both together, and like I said, we're gonna have to beg for forgiveness with somebody. But, once we move it down the road, it's gonna roll real well. But we won't have all 3 of them under construction one time, because you can kill it.
So,
And Group 3 is trying to be defined. We don't know yet. I think some of it's gonna be storm and some is gonna be sanitary. And the reason this one's dashed, I think Washington, they're separated to get out the hot. And then they come together and they're combined stuff. So here again, when we do some of the work out of the street, we'll pick up more than just the people that are like.
We just surveyed Group 3 last week.
Yeah.
Before last.
Finished it
Yeah.
last weekend.
I think we're in group 3, I think we saw your trucks. We got the letter, but we're.
Was he polite?
Pardon?
I say, was he polite and working hard?
Very hard.
Good.
so do I understand from what you're saying that Group 2 will begin like March?
I'm probably April. We're gonna advertise it, bid it now.
And then when will Group 1 begin after that?
After we have to have all the easements before we can bid it.
Okay.
And we get people, sooner people sign up, sooner we'll get rolling.
What's involved with the easement?
My turn?
Go ahead. Rob, I'll go let you talk for a minute.
The easement's very, it is a relatively simple document. It is just granting authority for the city to enter onto your land, and the city and its subcontractors, and install this pipe.
With machinery and trucks
Yes,
and that?
yes, yes. And then it would be a perpetual easement that would allow the city to, or any crews to come back in the future and repair or replace the pipe or anything like that. It also carries with it an indemnity clause. Should the pipe explode and create havoc, the city would be responsible for that, not you as the property owner.
What if you have fences up? Is it
Pull the fence-
our place to replace them?
We'll put the fence back.
No.
What if we have storage buildings in the back?
If the easement is directly underneath where a storage building might be, is that the concern?
I have no clue where
Yeah, we have no
where
idea.
it is.
Oh, we have maps for the easement that can show you where it is on your property. It's not a aerial photographic map, it'll kind of give you an idea of where on your property it would be.
There's a lot of work to be done back there because buildings are, there's gonna be an outbuilding or two that are over the easement. You got the utility poles, you got the water lines, I mean, it's gonna be a tough project. Trust me, we'd rather put it out in the street, but it's just.
Well, I just wondered if my building would have to be moved and if it was my responsibility. Same way with the fencing.
The fencing, we pull it back, put it back up, and the building don't have to be, building may need to be moved further away from it for future maintenance, but we'll have to, have to work that out as we do each one.
Very specifically,
Yeah,
from Robin Hood down to Whetstone, what is the dimension, the power poles? I know that this existing sewer line runs along the power line. What's the dimension? How far away from the poles is the easement going to be?
we'll get. So are you saying? Which section?
Group 1, up
Yeah,
at the
there's
top,
Robin, yeah.
Robin Hood, and the, the line, is that dash line, is that the existing
Yeah, let's go to
line?
the plan sheet. Robin Hood is new storm sewer out in the street.
Yeah, Robin Hood is this intersection right here.
Oh, I know. That's,
You are. That was good at last time.
My question is, I know where the existing combined sewer runs,
Yeah,
and there are power poles along there as well.
right.
What is the dimension of the easement going to be? How far from the power poles?
I'll make it.
Which property?
And I think
North.
with a specific address, that's
Yeah.
to dig into the plans.
Okay, all
Wait,
right.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I
did.
can wait till you're
There doesn't
done
appear to be
talking.
any easements.
Yeah, like
going
here
on
there's-
Robin Hood.
Well, I think the best thing to do is put together plans with you, and then we, you know, everybody's gonna have to be patient as we work through them. I got group 2 here, group 1's
I mean,
there.
is it gonna be 10 feet, is it gonna be 8 feet?
What's the width even on that document?
Just the general, I mean, they'll all be the same.
I think it's
still.
up to 15, so there's permanent easement, extra width for during construction. Sir, you had a question?
Yeah, if I understood that paper right, that you were going to level off the ground and put back grass.
Yes.
I didn't see anything in there that guaranteed any damage to the concrete drives and so forth would be put back.
We will take photographs and, you know, protect it, and if they, you know, we've got mechanisms within the contract, we're gonna be holding a retainage, we're gonna have bonds to protect you in the city, and if they don't repair it, reconstruction condition.
Are you going to put that in writing?
Yes,
Yeah, because I don't want to sign an easement right
Right.
now because the paperwork said you received, and it looks like it's going to be on my driveway area
Yeah, and
and
driveways-
affect the 70-foot
Right.
tall tree
Or
that I
you
just bought this
face-
house a year and a half ago, and, you know, of course, it's part of the reason I bought it was this lovely tree in my backyard.
and I bet you, does your property face Hoffman?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, there's a couple driveways you gotta go down, and we'll replace the driveway. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, it does need to be right.
Yeah, and that's fine, we can-
Without that.
What's the size of the sewer that goes north and south?
Jeff, I'm gonna depend on you for that one.
North and south on what road?
On Cullen Avenue.
Cullen Avenue. Cullen Avenue, I believe.
Search address is 24.
Yeah, let me zoom in over here. Like 12 inch,
Yeah, Jefferson 18.
18 to 24.
18 inch?
Starts out, the smallest is a 12, then it goes to an 18, then it goes to a 24.
How deep?
Let's see,
Get your profile.
we got,
It's shallow.
yeah, it's fairly shallow. 24 is 14, about 3.5 foot deep.
It's got about 3 feet of cover on it. It's real shallow in a couple of low spots, and then it gets deeper. It's not a deep sewer like we had on 7. 1.7 was 20 feet deep, but it's at the low end. You guys are at the high end, so it's gonna be more shallow. I think if people have individual questions on their property, I think it'd be best to jump into the plans. Kind of bigger questions we can answer in this group.
Bruce, while we got everybody, my contact info is incorrect on here. I'll go grab a few of my business cards and set them on the table. That's for my former position.
Oh,
What's your current position?
I'm the zoning administrator.
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
And I heard you say something about all the stuff around that river. Well, isn't that river a problem?
Well, I mean, the river, in what regard?
Flooding.
Yes, it is. But the sewers still need to drain to the river. So
So
what
you're
we're,
never preventing flooding.
no, we're not preventing flooding. What we're preventing is sanitary sewage from going into the river. And we're not preventing it, it's still gonna happen. You never totally eliminate it. That's one of the good things about the EPA, they've kind of figured that out. There's just stuff out there. But it's greatly reducing the amount of sewage, and we all know what sewage is. I won't say the word, but we're keeping it out of the river. And you know, you got that ford across the river in the park, kids walking and playing and fishing. People know the Sandusky like the canoe in it, and it works with way up to Sandusky. I mean, it's a quality of life issue. Terry, go ahead.
What we have along the river is what they call CSOs, that the sewer can only take so much, and it would overflow the sewage into the river. And what this is going to do is eliminate most of that. Not all of it, but most of it.
And the CSO stands for Combined Sewer Overflow.
Yes.
So when a wastewater treatment plant can't take it because it rains so hard, then it dumps through some valves directly into the river. This is no more unusual than any other industrial city in Ohio. I mean, up in Sandusky's gone through it, and Cleveland and Cincinnati, I mean, everybody has this problem. EPA hammered on the big cities the last 25 years because of the big polluters. Now they're going to the cities of, 10 to 25,000 people. Eventually they'll really get after the villages. Terry's been doing this for, 25 years here?
A long time.
Yeah.
And you read a lot about Lake Erie with the algae problem, and some of that is also attributed to the sewage that goes into the river in the Sandusky Bay, especially, that you have a lot of ammonia and a lot of nitrates, and that makes that algae grow a little bit more. So they want to eliminate all that if they can. So.
Give it to him, so I can give it to Sherry.
I'll take that, yeah.
Thank you, Terry. Yes, sir.
Are we keeping track of our, those overflows when they release into the river?
Terry,
Yes, we do.
Kind of defer that to you, thank you.
Yep, we do.
Are we seeing a decrease now for the projects that we have already completed?
We see a little bit of decrease, but we're going to get to the point where we won't see anything until we get a lot of this project done off the Buffalo.
Part of the agreement with the federal EPA, and we're not doing another engineering firm, is they have to monitor it, I think, once a year, to report on the progress.
Yeah.
They have a hydraulic model of the whole city that they did about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they'll read it periodically, pump the data in, and then
Who's doing those readings?
just a firm out of Cleveland.
Have they provided those to the city?
Yeah, they're under contract, but they haven't done it yet because, like Terry said, we put that main sewer line. We haven't done enough yet that you would really notice because the problem's so bad. Yeah, you're removing 200 houses, but when you got, I don't know, what do you have in the city? A couple thousand. Yeah.
I think what the plan is that after we get the group 1 and group 2 done, in the spring of next year, then they'll do a flow monitor test. From the way I understand it from Arcadia.
I will tell you without doubt that there's less stormwater getting to the wastewater plant because of the retention basin. I don't know if you noticed it yet or not, but there were times where people said, I don't get flooded anymore like I used to. That's a 100-year design. So it's a storm is working. You'll see the results of that effort quicker than you will each individual house dumping a little bit.
I would like to say thank you for that.
Yeah, thank everybody here at House, and we all work hard on it.
Well, you made a plan and it's working.
Oh, good. We expect these next 2 phases to work just as well. And it will be disruptive. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to be tearing up yards, tearing up streets. It's just the nature of the beast. We can't do it any other way. Yes, ma'am.
Once you start group 1, I know you're not quite sure when because you have to get all the easements in. what is the projection of time frame from start to
I have
finish?
schedule on there, I think I have 5. I would think it's gonna take 9 to 12 months, it's just more detailed in the backyards. Southern pretty much took a year, I think.
So, as far as like affecting driveways and such, there's no on-street parking on Hopley. So what do we do at that point? We have 3 vehicles and there's space for 4 in our driveway and, you know, I mean.
Get rid of the kids. You're gonna be inconvenienced.
Yeah.
More than, you and 1 or 2 other people more than anybody else. I can tell you, we'll work with you, to get past your house and through your driveway. They come in and saw cut it, they did it out there, they pipe, they backfill it. We can require them to plate it every night, so you can pull in at night if you want to, or park somewhere nearby, make arrangements with a neighbor. I don't think we have a church or a school across the street.
Now, there's an old car wash at the corner
Yeah,
of Hopley and Whetstone. I mean,
You're gonna be inconvenienced big time for about 3 to 5 days, depending on the weather and how deep it is. It's pretty shallow, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
Yeah.
The nice thing about shallow, it's just so much faster. Far into Southern, they might lay 100 feet a day. By the time they got up here, they were doing 200 feet a day. Because smaller pipe and much more shallow. We'll have to work closely with you, and you'll get to know us. We'll be an inspector out there.
Are residents gonna be able to put drops in that sewer line, storm sewer?
What do you mean?
The line will go between people's houses. Are those folks gonna be permitted to put their surface water into that sewer?
Yes, you'll be able to put it in the storm sewer, but not sanitary. There will be some catch basins in the backyards, like there are now. They're in pretty bad condition, some of y'all might have them. So there'll be catch basins, there'll be graded better, so it drains better. You can run your downspout out there, your sump pump if you like. But it's gonna be all the way to the rear of your yards except for you. That's something we can talk about. If you need a connection, dump your downspouts in with, that's great. That's easier for us to do.
No extra fee,
You mean it's,
put those drops in.
well, you would have to run a line from your house back to it yourself, but I think, are you asking a tap fee?
Yeah.
I don't think there is, Chris.
There will be. No, just kidding. No, just kidding. No,
I got you.
I don't.
2 minutes
No,
done.
I don't.
Yeah, we can,
Forward.
we would like to know you're gonna do it. If I were you, I'd try and do it whether they're working or close here too, so the grass isn't all you torn up once. Yes, sir.
We're not all present when you're here.
Yeah, I understand. Anything else? You guys been a good crowd. Yes, sir.
How deep does the sewer need to be before the material freezes and prevents flowing?
I've never had a storm sewer freeze.
The storm sewer, you have to do below the frost depth for water.
Right,
Which is-
water, yeah.
Yeah, for water line, which is 3 feet. The storm sewer, it's basically constantly flowing, where it will flow and drain and be gone. So there's really not a concern. If you talk to ODOT and the other pipe manufacturers and whatnot, minimum cover on a pipe is a foot. So if it's a 12-inch diameter pipe, you got whatever pavement thickness you have, and your top cover of the pipe, from the bottom of that asphalt to the top of the pipe is a foot. Then you got 12 inches for your pipe. So there's really no criteria for a depth for stormwater freezing.
Short of being in Alaska, I'm not aware of anybody that has problems with storm pipes freezing. I've had people have little downspout pipes that go out the street, if it's got a belly in it, out near the curb, you'll get a little frozen water down in the bottom of the downspout, when it was 77, 78, things froze it. And they're frozen before, and if it gets that cold again, it's gonna freeze again.
Another question, so if in group 1, the existing combined sewer is going to be sanitary sewer. So where we've tied in with our sewer from our house won't be affected.
Actually, it's gonna be improved because there's about 6 or 8 of them that are broken or failed. There's sediment in your backyard. You may have, there's like sinkholes. You might have one. I know there's people that have them. That's because the pipe is broken. Some of the pipe's gonna just be repaired, just where it's bad, because the city went out and televised everything. Other sections of pipe are gonna be totally replaced. And we can show you when we dig into the plans if you're
I know in
interested.
the current easement area behind, between the homes, on Hopley, there are some holes, that are, I mean, just.
Yeah.
We've marked them a little bit so our kids don't happen to
Now, that
get
will be
beyond their
repaired.
there. But
Actually, Greg, our surveyor, put a rod down in one of the holes and sent us a photograph. I mean,
There's actually a rake, and the rake went all the way down to, the pole went all the way down to the rake. I mean, that's how deep it was.
And with those, I'm assuming that's going to be repaired during this process then?
they'll either be repaired or replaced, depending how, if it's a whole line's got 4 breaks, probably replace them. If it's just one, you might repair it. Some of them are broken where the tap hooks in. That's pretty frequent. We might just redo that, put a line in it, redo the connection. We can show you where each one of those are.
And there was one on Cullen that had a cone sitting next to the catch basin that they were out last week, the week before last, where they were vacuuming out. I don't know if anybody saw that, but that's where there was a break in the sinkhole. So that's where that tap from the catch basin that went out and dropped down into that line broke. There's a lot of that.
That's right. You can email us too,
Yeah.
especially if you got a photograph or concerns. We'd rather know more of your concerns than later. The other thing we would ask, if you've got something special going on, I think it's on there, but special events, graduation, a wedding, who knows what, let us know, especially a wedding, and we can try and accommodate it. And we'll let the contractor know. If you have special needs, or any of your neighbors do, they can't get in and out easily, they're in a wheelchair, they got some health issues. We had one neighborhood that was kind of a house in a residential neighborhood, but there were 5 or 6 people lived in the house that were handicapped. And we had to make sure you could get that van in and out at certain people, and we just told the contractor, you gotta do it. We worked through it. We'll let school know on school, but school district, on school buses, police and fire will know, that kind of thing. There's a little bit of water line work, trying to eliminate the water line in the back of the houses, put it out in the street. There's a handful of houses, I want to say I'm calling, where your service has got the back of the house to the main, in the backyard. We're gonna have to come around and put the service out to the street. We're extending a water main about 100 feet. And it's gonna give you the service all the way up, almost up to the house. And get you, frankly, more reliable water, because it'll be a new main. That old one back there is not in great shape. I can see a hand. Yes.
Okay, so 9 to 12 months for the whole Route 1 project, but as far as each individual property owner, do you have a particular time frame generally?
You're gonna be really disturbed for a week or so. Now, they're gonna have to haul equipment in and out. Actually, you're gonna be disturbed a lot because they're gonna have to get it back there. You're blessed if you're at the far end of the line, but you'd be disturbed the least. But we still got your great man, you got your equipment, hydraulic equipment. We're gonna have to work closely with that parking. We're gonna have to figure something out. Probably need to get together sometime. And, pop us an email and we'll figure out time to get together. Because logistics and where you store the material and how you get in and out is gonna be a challenge.
Tagging on to what Bruce said, those of you that have specific requirements or specific issues that you want addressed in that easement, best thing to do would be to send an email to Landon. We'll set up a time and a date, have you come in, Bruce can be here, or Mr. Wagner and I, and try to hammer that out, make sure we get any specific concerns addressed in that easement so that we can get that whole project moving forward. So you've got Landon's email there, just send a letter, email to him, let us kind of know when you're available. If through the evening, that's fine, we'll, come in, we can go over the easement with you, and if there's something specific, tree, driveway, those kinds of things, we can cover that, okay?
If anybody wants to hop up and look at the plans with us, come on up.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah,
We live on John Street, so which one is that, one or two?
That'll be three.
Three?
Three.
Okay,
Now, well, there was a catch basin at the intersection of John and Westland.
that's what we live.
That'll be part of group two. No, group one, it'll be part of group one.
I thought so, that's what I
Yeah, that's
thought.
part of my spaghetti stuff.
You were here.
That's what I thought.
actually, if you live at the corner and the intersection of Southern and Whetstone, you're gonna be disturbed twice.
Actually, we live at the corner of John and Whetstone.
Okay, but I'm just saying, if anybody does live at Southern and Whetstone, because everything's gotta come there. It's a big hub.
Yeah, here's the, so this is group two, or group one, I'm sorry. Right here's the catch basin where we'll be tying in.
Okay, that would be right there.
That's how it's in John Street, yeah.
Right, yeah, that'd be across the street from where we're at.
So you're on the east
No, no,
side?
no, we're on John Street.
Oh,
On
okay.
John Street, yeah, there's that,
It's
there's
on
an
the other
existing
side.
catch basin, a little storm line that runs right up.
That's a
like that.
perfect example. That catch basin right now is right into the cemetery. So all we're doing is bringing it out and bringing it in the storm sewer.
It's horrible, because if they don't clean up their leaves,
Yeah.
I mean, we've had neighbors have, waste in their basements.
Right.
So, yeah. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, so a lot of times I'm gonna rake off the leaves off of it.
Yeah.
One other point, just so you know, almost all the street work is just gonna be a trench repair. We're not overlaying the streets yet. But when we make the turn on Hockley, ODOT came in last year and paved that. We didn't know they were coming, we said go do it. But what we disturb on Hockley, because Hockley's so new, we're gonna go full width that one travel lane and put that new asphalt full width of the lane and not the width of the pipe. We didn't want to hold ODOT up from paving everything, because the money is paid 90%. And we weren't sure yet exactly where the storm sewer was gonna go when they decided to pave it. So I don't want you to think we're all crazy. It's gonna be 3-year-old pavement, we're gonna have to mill it, we're gonna have to pave it. We felt that was the best way to handle it.
Does John Street then flow to the east to Whetstone, is that what you're saying? Or is it west?
Right now, there's this catch basin right here that comes out into the street and then goes north. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it and go across the street, go east, and tie into the new storm line, and this line right here will be abandoned. Because the way it is right now, it goes into the combined sewer.
Yeah, but all the sewers then on John Street, further to the west.
This way?
Yeah, are they part of group 3?
Yes.
Okay.
And put the arrow down, if you can.
Yeah, I need to see that.
And we don't have group 3 fully defined, so what's gonna be what.
I think this is John Street right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is all part of Group 3. But that catch basin right here will go across the street now.
So we're gonna have to come back then again for group 3, is what you're saying?
On John Street you may, but not, you should not happen.
Right.
And depending on the sewers and everything that's in the area and where you are, you may not even be affected.
Okay, good.
Because like I said, we're taking that out of the combined right there.
We look at the plans, we may know where your lateral goes now, and if you go out on Hockley, or the Whetstone rather, you shouldn't be affected. But if you go out the back, some of the houses are go out the back and the sewer in the alley. Those are the ones we're gonna have to take care of.
That purple or reddish line north of John Street, is that alley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? So, like I said, we got two full-size sets up here, one of each, and then in the back table, there are half-size sets of each. So there are each.
So my question is, John Street's gonna be on one of these?
Yes, it'll be on this group one set of plans.
Who here is from group 2? Who's from group 2? Which street do you live on? Okay, you're on group